What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Martian and Ozzy podcast. I am the Martian, joined by my co-host, as always, Ozzy. And this week, we're going to be talking about the Thiago Santos versus Jamahall Hill card going down this Saturday from the UFC Apex. It's a 12-fight card. It's a pretty weak card, but we're still going to try to give you guys some good analysis and betting information, as always. Ozzy, how we doing this week, my man?
Feeling better than last week, health wise, not as stuffy, not coming off as hot of a week. But that's the variance. That's the ebbs and the flows. Unfortunately, not the best card this week. Next week's a little weak as well. But it's vacation season. Not gonna watch this fight card live. Honestly, just gonna enjoy the Saturday. But yeah, we'll get into it. I'm liking that co-main event, and yeah, here we are to record this. Coming to you guys weekly. So let's see what we could do.
Yeah, we're gonna probably keep some of these breakdowns short and sweet. Uh, really, only one really good fight on the card: Neal versus Luque. That's a great matchup. Hill versus Santos is a pretty weak main event. And before we get into this week, though, quick recap of last week. Solid week for me. 2.04 units profit. 3 weeks in a row of profit after having a. I think I lost on maybe 5 or 6 UFCs in a row up until this, and then nice to turn it around, get some winners there. Some CLV paid off big time. It was funny. I had 3 big CLV bets on my money lines. The one I felt good about, Mayes, is the one I lost, and then the one I felt less confident about, Pavlovich and Nergomanu, won in pretty easy fashion. So it just goes to show that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Ozzy, what about you?
Yeah, just under 6.5 down. Unfortunately, I didn't plug in a few of my some of the prop sides that I like the Morono decision or the goes the distance in that fight. But I had $1 CLV on the Maze fight. Maybe played that a little bit too big in the hindsight of not playing it back officially. With some Hamdy when that line got out of hand, and yeah, I mean, I think the only bad bet it's probably the Ehor fight. I mean, I try to wait, get that plus money on it, just fading, Nick a bit, and it was just 3/4 of a unit. It was not a big bet, and it was at plus 120. Obviously, Kim, I had her on the money line and by decision there. Lost a split decision there, a close fight. I mean, it was just a Ji Yoon Kim fight. I'd play Garcia again. I'd probably play Garcia big again, like in the same fashion again. Plus 190, little CLV there. It was a close fight overall. He could have definitely won that fight, but wasn't able to make it happen at the end. And then Alex Perez and Derek Lewis, the fights didn't play out, that well and that much. So not too much to glean from those two. And then the two winners, the Dober fight and the Alex Morono fight, both nice winners. And then that over a 2.5, I was going to make that my best bet in that Amanda Nunes fight. Didn't make it, but ended up being on the betting card and winner there. So put that one in the rear view. Mirror overall. I mean, like I said, dollar CLV. I don't really mind it too much overall, and some bets along the way. I think were came. I wasn't too big of a losing night. Is all I have to say. And yeah, we move on to where we are in this fight card this week.
Yeah, my 3 props last week, Ozzy, I got lucky on all three. The over in the main event that we had, what, 4 knockdowns. The Semmelsberger
Right.
GTD, Semmelsberger eyes busted to bits, and then the Kasi decision only. It's 1-1 going in round two. I got my biggest bet of the card on fucking Kasi decision only, and he pulls it off, and we win. But
Yeah, I didn't see that fight. I don't know. I have no idea what happened in
yeah,
that
you
fight
didn't
at
miss
all.
much. But all right, so we're starting this card, fellas. If we keep you guys around for more than an hour after this card, just turn us off at that point because this card should not take us an hour. So we're starting things now in the bantamweight division. Bueno Silva taking on Edgar. Uh, Big line movement here. Edgar minus 140, Silva plus 120. I got in on Edgar early at plus 124, I believe, on FanDuel. I'm thinking that Edgar is probably going to be the better grappler here. She knows how to get the fight to the floor, how to fight optimally. And Bueno Silva's been taken down in all 6 of her UFC fights, got controlled for long stretches by Miraz, De La Rosa. Even Firo kept her down for a little while. So I was feeling good about Edgar plus money there. Now the line completely flipped, and I really don't knock anybody for taking Bueno Silva at plus 120 now. Because she's the better striker, no doubt about it. She's a pretty mean damaging striker, but it's just her defensive grappling that lets her down. So pretty striker versus grappler matchup. I'm going with Egger at the plus money, but either plus 120 on either woman here is good. Just don't lay juice on this fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna end up on the other side. I'm gonna end up taking Bueno Silva here on the money line. I've liked Egger in the past. I think in her last fight specifically, I liked her against Jessica Rose Clark, and I can see why people jump on her early. Obviously, in women's MMA, when you have a girl that's reliable to grapple, and you have another girl who can be stuck on her back, can look for those guard submissions. I could totally see the play and the angle of it. But I just feel overall like I want to be on the side of the girl who is throwing some of these more damaging strikes out there, and is just a little bit more aggressive in terms of dealing out damage. I'm not too sure if Stephanie Egger is going to be making it past the guard of Bueno Silva. So I could see this fight, there being some stand-ups in this fight, and as well the judo. The judo's great, as especially when you're not tired and earlier in the fight. But as the fight plays out, in the same fashion that it is hard to get these double leg takedowns and these single legs, it's not always easy to curtail someone and get them against the fence and get to good positions with the judo, because remember, a lot of times you are going for these judo throws, you can end up in a bad position overall, or you can put yourself in a position where you can get put on the bottom, and you did see that a few times. Tracy Cortez was able to capitalize and kind of use the attempts that Egger was putting out there against her and get to top positions. Obviously, Bueno Silva is not as good of a top position grappler overall, but she is dangerous. She throws shots from bottom. She's very active. So I'm curious to see the pace the fight gets played at and who's able to dictate it. But I'm gonna lean on the Bueno Silva side. Take some plus money to start off the night, and hope that we come out ahead with decision win on her end, or maybe even a finish, because she does crack, she does hit hard. She is in the States now full time, and I think Egger is due to get hit, and she's definitely fighting a much different fighter than she has in the past. So I'll take up Bueno Silva money line.
Yeah, Bueno Silva keeps coming strong throughout the fight too. She's got good cardio. Um, we got strawweight division next. Corey McKenna, Miranda Granger. McKenna is the favorite here, minus 200. Granger plus 170. Little buyback on Miranda Granger these past few days. Any interest in the dog here, Ozzy?
A little bit. I do have a little bit of interest on Miranda Granger, just because the size difference here tells me that potentially these takedowns later on in the fight could come a little bit more difficult for McKenna. But the issue that I have alongside that is that even though McKenna has that reach disadvantage, she still is a good deal quicker, I think, overall coming in and out than Granger is. Albeit, Granger definitely has a stand-up advantage. And I've noticed with these women, when after they give birth, I don't know what it is, but like they get smaller. Like Mackenzie Dern has issues, right? Getting down to 125 or 115, I should say, before giving birth. After giving birth, the woman, I don't know, maybe the baby takes all your baby weight away, right? Your baby fat. I don't know what it is, dude. Maybe I need to look into that more. But maybe Miranda Granger does not have as much difficulty making 115 as I think she had in the past. I think it's a decent dog shot. I mean, Corey McKenna, she's just not that effective with the strikes, with strikes that, and that's what's going to win the fight at the end of the day. She could be on top all she wants, but she has not shown the propensity for me to pass guard or finish, with submissions or anything else. If you're not giving those positions up to her. So yeah, I think that it's very easy for Granger to put together a game plan for herself to come out ahead here.
We might be behind schedule, Ozzy, already. You're getting a little long-winded on some of these fights.
That was quick. That was quick.
I mean, I was interested in maybe taking a stab on Granger just because McKenna is so bad, but then I rewatched that Ashley Yoder fight, and I said, "No fucking way, I'm doing that." But I'm getting like girl versus woman vibes on this. McKenna's small little frail girl. Miranda Granger, a grown woman now. Got those tattoos.
I don't even. I'm not sure even if McKenna gets her period. Yeah. Like, mom strength is real, dude. Mom
Yeah, like
strength
she
is
might be like
real.
a 16-year-old fighting under some alias or something like that. But I mean, yeah, McKenna, I think, will probably grapple her way to a win, but man, this fight is garbage, man. But we're moving on to the next fight. Josh Quinlan versus Jason Witt in the welterweight division. Quinlan minus 265, Witt plus 225. I mean, Witt's a tough guy to bet on because he always has a path to victory with the grappling, but he always has that weakness with his chin, and his defense is just terrible too. Just really slow reaction times, just not a natural striker, and he really can't take a punch. So you got to be really careful betting a guy like that. Also, once he gets on top, I really don't see him submitting Quinlan here. I mean, he might get Quinlan down to the ground with a takedown or two, but I think Quillen's going to stay safe enough and avoid getting submitted. And Witt seems mostly like a decision type of fighter to me. And, Quinlan doesn't seem like a great prospect, but he doesn't seem glaringly bad anywhere either. He seems like he has a decent idea how to defend takedowns, and he's kind of like a low volume striker. Don't let that contender series knockout fool you, where he just knocked the guy out in 45 seconds. A lot of his fights, he fights pretty patient. He fights behind a jab. So I think the Quinlan knockout line is kind of bait here. And if there's a play to be made, it's on the Quinlan decision at plus 450. I can see Quinlan just kind of jabbing his way to a victory, or a fight where Witt takes him down for a few minutes. Quinlan pops back up to the feet, lands a few strikes. Witt clinches up, and then Quinlan steals the rounds on damage. So um, tough fight to bet because of Witt's chin. Any opinions for you here?
There's no way that I'll be betting on this fight, but I do think that Quinlan's transitional grappling and overall grappling are going to be good enough to get to make Witt fight with him on the feet. If Witt can back him up and get respect and avoid that right hand, I do think he's potentially alive, but I do not think he will get easy takedowns early. Obviously, the guy's really strong, but Quillen hits hard. He's able to find the fight ending strikes as well. And he is well versed on the ground and he's been training a long time. So this is a total pass fight for me. If you're playing DraftKings, I think that's the best way to target this fight, and target it heavily because I do think there will be action here. And it's all about if, and like in any Jason Witt fight, can he take any shots? If he does, he's gonna score points. He's gonna, do well. He has a much more connected game overall. But Josh Quinlan's not a bad fighter, man. The steroid stuff is weird, but I think he's pretty solid. I think he will win UFC fights, maybe starting with this one, but I'm not paying to find out.
We're going to keep it in the welterweight division next. Sato versus Battle here. The line for this one is Battle minus 290, Sato plus 245. A lot of action on Brian Battle here. You getting any interest in Sato at the dog price, Ozzy?
I will not. This is another guy. I'm not betting on Sato. I mean, he just got no fire to me. Like I don't like betting on guys that are like Sato. Like I want a guy like I mean it's cliche when people say it, like the fight for your money guy. Like if you're content with taking an L like Sato is, and I'm not saying it's part of his culture, but maybe it is. I'm not interested, But I do think Brian Battle potentially with the junk volume that he's gonna be throwing out is gonna be there to be hit for Sato, but Sato just doesn't pull the trigger. He doesn't set up the left hand too much. You haven't seen him too much in later fights either. Battle's going to be throwing kicks out there as well. It's not only going to be just hands and all that. So do I think that Brian Battle could potentially get hurt with a big punch by Sato? For sure, 100%. So I'm not as inclined and as excited as some people are to lay that juice on Battle. But I do think he's potentially a okay prospect, a guy that could stick around the top 30 of the welterweight division. But I just don't like paying a big juice for a guy like this. Moving down a weight class with his style. I was big on him against Gore, but I think it's a different fight here against a guy who does have some UFC experience. So it's a pass fight for me. Maybe lean to the over because Battle's not that potent of a finisher, and I don't think Sato's gonna be getting him out of there either. So that would be my lean for if I had to play this fight, and I think I might play the over 2.5 or the goes distance.
Yeah, not much interest in this one for me. I think Battle should be pretty comfortable here. Sato, like you said, just doesn't really do anything. That Gunnar Nelson fight, just a pathetic display there. Just no effort to win on his behalf there. He just put forth no effort. I mean, embarrassing performance. And I mean, he has a nice straight left hand. not much else. He doesn't have anything else to his game. So unless Brian Battle stays at complete distance with him and just gives him a kickboxing fight and lets him set up that straight left hand, I don't really see, Battle having too much difficulty here. I think Battle would be wise to get the fight in the clinch, maybe mix up his grappling and grapple himself here because Sato's takedown defense just isn't up to par for the UFC. And as our boy Narco Cop was saying, how funny would it be if Gunnar Nelson had all that control time and wasn't able to submit him, and then Brian Battle is the guy to submit him? And I feel like that's just a total MMA thing that would happen. So Battle does kind of grapple offensively and go for subs too. He subbed Petrosky, Urbina he might have subbed too. So Battle sub prop is probably the only interesting prop there. Next fight is in the lightweight division. I'm fired up for this fight. Terrence McKinney versus Eric Gonzalez. McKinney is the minus 1,000 favorite. Eric Gonzalez is the plus 600 dog here. And I feel I have some firm convictions here. And from what we know about Terrence McKinney is that he has really embodied this, kill or be killed fight style in his recent fights, and he's just going for finishes in round one. He's coming out with those crazy high kicks and left hands, and the guy definitely has potent offense. I mean, I bet on Drew Dober in the last fight, and in the first 30 seconds of that fight, I'm thinking to myself, man, this McKinney's guy's power is just different. I mean, he hits people and they go down, but if they survive past 2 or 3 minutes, the guy's going to gas out as he did versus Drew Dober. That style is not sustainable. So if he keeps going at guys and going for the kill in round one, sure, he might, find that knockout and finish him in round one. But if the fight goes past just 2 or 3 minutes, his win equity is just going to drop off a ton. So when you have a fighter that volatile and a guy who's that aggressive in round one with these finishes, how can he be a minus 1,000 favorite? How can his chances of winning be over 90%? I mean, I really just don't think that that's right for McKinney at all. And Gonzalez is not a good fighter at all. I mean, I think this guy is very there to be knocked out, but I think that he's also probably going to just bite down on that mouthpiece and throw leather with McKinney in there. And we're talking about two low level fighters just exchanging strikes with one another. I don't think McKinney is particularly durable. So I like a shot on the dog here, plus 600 for Eric Gonzalez. That's good for a half unit for me. I mean, these MMA fights at minus 1,000, you just rarely or almost never see the fighter cover that price tag. So I'm definitely down to take a stab on the Mexican Gonzalez here. I think he's fighting for my money, and I think they're just going to trade in the center. How wrong can I really be at plus 600?
Yeah, I mean, I agree here. Like, I'm gonna take Eric Gonzalez as well. I was like much more hesitant to do it, but I mean, fuck it. At the end of the day, if you look, has he ever been knocked out? No. I mean, other than the Jim Miller fight, he hasn't been knocked out. Other than that fight, but I mean, Jim Miller, certified savage, they were banging in that fight, like banging, banging hard, and Jim Miller obviously can maintain, throwing fight-ending shots, a lot longer than Terrence can. Has that grappling, threat as well to him. And I mean, I know some people that thought that Eric Gonzalez was super live there and could come back as well as that fight was playing out. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a fight where, you know, I don't know, like you would think that you might want to play the over just because that price is crazy, but I'm not gonna do it. Like if I'm gonna invest in this fight, is gonna be a small, tiny bet on this 600 or high. I mean, I'm waiting. Like there's no reason that I'm not gonna wait on this because if I'm gonna bet at 600, this is one of those fights that like those chimps will be like, oh, you bet it at 600, but you wouldn't bet it at 550, right? Ha ha ha. No, I bet it at 550. I bet it at 550, but I'm not going to, just pigeonhole
You
myself
want the
right
best
now.
price.
Yeah, so there's been one-way traffic that the chimp monkeys are gonna keep parlaying Terrence McKinney. He just got to 1100 on FanDuel, so someone's parlaying him. So let's take a little dog shot here. I mean McKinney literally has a TKO loss via injury, so I mean he even has that playing against him. So let's take Gonzalez, tiny play.
And Gonzalez KO is 14-1. Like that's nuts to me. And then here's maybe McKinney switches up the style. He comes out offensively grappling. I mean, in that case, the overs I think would be really good value. I don't think he's some world beater on the ground who's just going to instantly submit Gonzalez. And I'm sure our boy Combat will be interested in that plus 470 GGD here. Um, just crazy prices overall for a lightweight fight.
I wish McKinney by submission was better. I would play that if that was, in the
The odds on that
200s.
are,
But
oh my god,
140, yeah, 140, I
just
can't do
incredible
it.
odds.
Like, no way.
And then last thing I'll say is, Gonzalez he got signed, 10 months ago. He lost. Don't think that he can't make some improvements in that time. I mean, he's been training probably more seriously ever in the past 9 months than he has throughout his career. And we see guys get to the UFC and make improvements all the time. So, I mean, I just think this price is crazy. And we'll stick with a fight with some big odds in the next fight, up to the middleweight division. McCall, Jaychuk, Sam Alvey still fighting in the UFC. McCall minus 700, Sam Alvey plus 450. Now, Ozzy, are you crazy enough to think there's any value on Sam Alvey here?
Smiling Sam, I mean, the only things playing in Sam's favor is the fact that Mikhal's going down to his weight class. And I mean, the guy, he never had good cardio in a third round either. Like, he couldn't he couldn't push the pace in round threes even at 205. So at 185, I doubt he's gonna be able to. So I mean, I think these guys gonna bang. I like the under here, even at 1.5. I kind of like it, at that plus
Mm,
money. I probably won't play it though, just because like I'm not playing these two fights back to back. Like I can't do it. But I do feel that Mikal, if his weight cut goes well at all, I think he's gonna be quick enough, and he's just so accurate. Like Sam Alvey, what he does is he kind of like throws punches and like knows that you're gonna be in that space, and he ends up landing. But Mikal, he's actually like pinpointing some of these strikes, and he's throwing to the body and comboing it up to the head, and I think he's a knockout Sam Alvey, in my opinion. So I actually think his knockout prop is not that bad because he's not going three with Sam Alvey. Like I'm pretty confident he's gonna hunt this dude down at some point, or he's gonna get knocked out himself. But he's not gonna just stand by, and win like a point fighty 3 round decision. And Sam Alvey, the chin is going, like the durability is going. He's still sparring hard as well. So like it this I think he's getting knocked out by Mikal, but I'm probably gonna pass on the fight
me
overall.
too. No, I'll probably take some of that McCall minus 105 KO, and the body shots too. I mean, McCall's got good body shots. Sam Alvey can still take a punch, but when you mix in those body shots, the speed advantage, a fellow southpaw, I feel like Sam's going to be in for a world of hurting here. So, square play of the week, McCall KO. I think it's cashing. Best odds available on FanDuel. I'll probably end up on that. Next fight is a Brazilian woman fight in the flyweight division. Ariane Lipski minus 175, Priscilla Cachoeira plus 150. Right off the bat, I think these women are just two different types of Brazilians. I mean, I think they're just cut from a different cloth. I mean, I don't really know much about the geography, the regions of Brazil, but I would imagine that Lipski is from like the rich, preppy part, while Cachoeira is from like the favelas, the trenches, and Cachoeira just had to fight harder for everything in her life, and this is an amazing matchup, quite honestly. Um, the first fight on the main card, great placement by the UFC, and I mean, Cachoeira is a fucking dog. I mean, she was losing that fight to Jian Kim, and she just said, "I'm gonna come forward and throw 25 elbows straight," and about 21 of those elbows landed, and she stole the fight away from Jian Kim there. And I mean, she's just a dog. I mean, she gets taken down, she gets hit, but she's also hard to continually outstrike. She's hard to keep down on the mat, and I don't know, man. I think this is going to be a pretty tough fight for Lipski, and definitely wouldn't be eager to lay chalk. I mean, laying chalk on this fight is out of the question to me, and I think that I mean, Cachoeira stays underrated. I mean, she overperforms nonstop, and I don't know, man. I'm not going to be betting this fight at all. I see no value on anything across the board. But I think I would much rather have my money on Cachoeira at plus here than I would Lipski at juice. What are you thinking here?
Well, Lipski looked great in her last fight, as I astutely predicted. She was in a body bag Mandy bomb, and she almost did. Um, and I think she's gonna land a lot of punches on Priscilla Cachoeira as well. But I mean, Cachoeira is the most durable woman, most savage woman in MMA. She does not. I mean, she's just not good overall. but she's got good cardio. She knows how she needs to win, fights overall. And I think that she could probably survive these shots from Ariane Lipski. And my best bet of the whole card, everything, I
GTD.
think. Yes, exactly. This fight is going the
It is.
distance. And
You're right.
the fact that they give you 160, 154 on FanDuel is ridiculous. It's
It is.
preposterous. The fact that it's 215, 180, 200, over 2.5. That's my best bet of this fight card. That's what I'm rolling with. If Priscilla Cachoeira gets fucking body bagged and is looking up at the lights by Lipski,
No,
dude,
no shot.
cool. I don't think this very possible. Like I give it very little chance, but congrats to Lipski for decapitating Priscilla Cachoeira, doing something that did even when did Valentina
It
finish?
was. I think
Like
it was a doctor stoppage after round 2. I don't even think the ref was.
after round two.
Yeah, the ref didn't even stop it.
Okay,
Oh no, no, it was. It
it's
was.
just
It
gonna
was
take
a rear naked choke. 9 minutes and 25 seconds in.
okay. But I just think that, Priscilla is going to be able to put out enough offense that does not allow Lipski to just get in her zone like she did against Bomb. And then as well, Lipski is technical enough to keep Priscilla off of her. So over 2.5, over, goes the distance, best bet. And I'll pick Lipski to win, but there's no way you could lay that juice. Like, I mean, you could because she's just so much technically better and she should be able to keep her feet moving. But you never know with Priscilla Cachoeira. I do not like betting against that woman. Like, she fucked me hard against Kim, dude. That was
Lesson
lost a
learned. Yeah.
fat parlay there. But I think Lipski will win.
The second I said I see no bets with value, I passed it over to you. I looked at that goes the distance. I said, "What? Minus 154?" I mean, the
Yeah, I'm
only
on
way
that.
Cachoeira gets finished is by subs typically, and I mean, I don't think the Lipski has the jiu-jitsu to really sub her. Um, so I like that too. I'm sold. I'll be tailing that best bet of the week. Next fight, heavyweight
Hell yeah.
division, Sakai-Spivak. Spivak minus 300, Sakai plus 250. Your turn to start this one off.
Well, we got the B minus striker versus Augusto Sakai, who's making the comeback after that. I mean, it's crazy that Tai Tuivasa went from fighting Sakai a year ago to main eventing in Paris, like breaking open, breaking the cherry in Paris against Gon. Insane,
That was a
come up
little
for
that was
him.
like late 2019, I think. But yeah, still a crazy transfer.
Was it? I thought that was his last fight.
No, no, that was
Yes, it was.
Greg Hardy,
No,
bro.
no, you're wrong, dude. They fought Sakai and Tuivasa fought
Oh, I'm
December
sorry.
last year.
I thought you meant Spivak beating.
Oh
I'm
no.
sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no worries. But yeah, crazy come up 10 months, 9 months in between for Tuivasa. But yeah, I mean, I've never liked Augusta Sakai. I mean, he just like plotting, like, his striking like is solid enough, but like he's not coming at you with too much volume overall. I think you need to be there to be hit. And Spivak, he does. I mean, this guy sucks. Like, don't let Martian convince you otherwise when he takes shit over. But I mean, he's active enough. He goes into the clinch, he works trips in there. But if he gets caught at range, if he gets tired moving Sakai's fat ass around, he can easily lose this fight. So I mean, I think paying 270 for this guy is insane. It's crazy. Like, there's no way like this would be even like at any time, there would be no way that this would be the line. Like, Sakai was a favorite over freaking Ivanov, dude, and now he's fighting Spivak. And I give it Spivak, yeah, he does have some solid wrestling. All right, he does wrist ride. He's tangling up the legs, but I don't got a big take on this fight other than I'd probably take Sakai if it went up a little bit more. We're at 250. Oh, we're at 250 now. Like, I it's getting close. That you gotta. I would have to play Spivak a little bit, but yeah, I'm
You
gonna
mean
pass on the
Sakai?
fight. Yeah, excuse me, Sakai. Yeah, it's getting kind of close because Spivak is just a bad striker. Over 1.5 is interesting as well.
Now, I am a big fan of Spivak, and I don't like to kick a man while he's down. But Ozzy did bet on Greg Hardy in that last fight,
I
and
think I did.
I had a great angle on the fight. Fight doesn't start round 3. Cash with ease, plenty of time left on the clock. And Spivak just showed that he knows how to fight optimally. Like the guy isn't a dummy. He knows how to get the fight in the area where the fight is at his biggest strength. I mean, he did that versus Vandera when the fight was close versus Philippe in the third round. He went to his grappling. I mean, the guy actually, I think, is a semi-intelligent fighter, and he's a B- striker. We all know that. He's I'd say better than that, a grappler, B plus grappler. You saw that sick judo throw he hit on Greg Hardy, bro. Forget about it. Like,
Huge delta there between his striking and his grappling. A plus to B minus. Huge difference.
yeah, that's just how good of a striker he is, honestly.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, Sakai is terrible at everything, man. This guy seems kind of mentally checked out as well. I mean, I guess the Ivanov fight wasn't. Wait, no. Oh, that was way long ago. I was thinking of Blagoy Ivanov's most recent fight. Who the hell? Oh, that was against Delima. I'm mixing these guys up, but yeah, I mean, Sakai just seems a little bit mentally checked out to me. I don't think the guy really, um, I don't think he's fighting to be in the top 15, top 10 anymore. He's kind of just phoning it in at this point, and I think Spivak, just has a lot more ways to win. Minus 300, I do agree, it is a bit crazy. I see no way to lay the juice on Spivak at that price. I mean, maybe this fight going long. I think maybe over 2.5 for the GTD here. I think maybe we could see Spivak maybe just lay on top. But I mean, he does throw a good amount of ground and pound. So even that, I think it is no good. I don't know, man. I don't see any value on the board right now. From any props. So, not much to really add here from a betting perspective. It's time to move on to the tough championship fights. And these are some dog shit fights, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if any of you watched the tough season. Ozzy and I certainly didn't watch a single fucking second of it until we watched these fights just to refresh our memory on these fighters. But they all suck. All four of them suck. And, tread lightly betting these fights. Because they're bottom of the barrel level. Juliana Miller taking on Brogan Walker in the flyweight division. They have Miller as the favorite, minus 130, Walker plus 110. So what I see from Miller is a woman who is trying to grapple. She's got some pretty weak takedowns. She doesn't seem very physically strong, and she's kind of a weasel on the ground though. She gets these sloppy takedowns, then she gets a good position. She'll be stalling out against the cage for multiple minutes, and then she'll finally get some good position, like a back take or something. But her striking seems pretty weak. And she, like I mentioned as well, she just seems weak. She doesn't seem like a strong fighter. Brogan Walker definitely seems like the stronger, meaner of the two women. But all of Brogan Walker's fights, I'm watching all of her opponents try to grapple her, and she gets backed up to the cage. She spends multiple minutes with her back to the cage. She defends takedowns. She doesn't get put on her back, but she just spends so much time with her back to the cage. So I gave Walker the striking advantage here. I think she's just the stronger physical woman as well. But I think Miller probably has that grinding grappling to push her against the cage to grind out some positions, get some some clinch time, and just make this a really grinding, boring fight. I'm predicting a 15-minute push against the cage, trading positions against the cage. I think it's going to be a terrible fight,
What's
and
that
neither of these
GTD?
women are going
What
to
is
have
that?
long-term success. It's
What is that?
minus 325.
Oh god.
We can't do it. Over 75% can't do it. So pass all around here,
The
man. This
pick.
is this is this is bad. Oh, it'll be Miller decision.
You got Miller decision. Okay. So I mean, I literally watched these women's fights today, and I was watching Brogan Walker, and I was like, man, like there, people actually like are confident that like this woman's good. Like the fight that she had against the Mexican chick, I think to get to the final, it was just a ridiculous fight. Like the girl's like 5'1", and Brogan Walker is like she's like kind of just playing hopscotch, like thinking that the girl's like gonna hurt her. And Juliana Miller, like I knew her. I bet on her in that first Claire Guthrie fight, which she lost. I thought it was a bullshit decision. But I mean, the girl just goes through like these Kimuras, and I feel like it's just a very easy woman to game plan against. Like to be losing to her, like Claire Guthrie, like I thought it was an embarrassing performance, given that you already know what she's gonna do very, very clearly. But she is definitely a weasel, for sure. But I'm shocked at how little she's developed since that first fight. And then the issue again with Walker is that they said that she had like a torn MCL. The tough fights, to my surprise, were not that. I don't know how long ago they were though. So, I'm actually now kind of thinking more that Brogdon Walker is going to be able to not go to the ground, or at least like not get caught in some, like, the main thing that Juliana Miller does from on bottom. She goes to these Kimuras where she's able to reverse position and get on top. And I mean, I don't know, like, I don't know if she's an, and like, if she does not have any guard passes, like, she just looks to get dominant positions creatively. And I don't like, man, I don't like her. I just, like, I don't like her game overall for like a UFC fights. So I think I'm actually leaning towards the Walker side now. It's a plus. It's at the plus money as well. Maybe Walker by decision. Uh, let's see. That is plus
Plus
150.
140.
I could get one. You get 155. Oh no, excuse me. I looked at the wrong one. I get, yeah, plus 140 is best price you could get. So I think that's not bad because I don't think she's gonna finish Juliana
Nah, you
Miller.
gotta take money line at that point, I think. I
Maybe,
just don't.
I guess. But I just think she's gonna, yeah, if it's like plus 110, yeah. I just think she's gonna probably win a decision here, but I wouldn't be surprised at anything happening here. But yeah, I'll pick Walker to win the fight.
Yeah, I think like Walker's definitely gonna land like the more strikes, but I still feel like she might lose this. I mean,
Maybe, yeah.
just terrible fight. Moving on, heavyweight division finals. Zach Pauga taking on Muhammad Usman, the brother of Kamaru. Just a mirror image of his brother. I mean, just a generational talent in the
Absolutely.
making. What are you thinking here, Ozzy?
Yeah, so I was looking at this more, and people are telling me Zach Pauga's good and all this stuff. And I'm looking at interviews. Like, I know that these guys were both coming from the same team, which was definitely interesting to me because I knew that obviously they must have trained together, and I think they were on the same team as well on the uh on the tough finale. Now I don't know Zach Pauga's background in terms of like when he got into MMA, but he's 34 years old. Right, I think his first MMA, he had a bunch of amateur fights, but they were all in the last 3 years. But he just comes off to me as like a hardo in the gym. He's trying his hardest. Like, he's looking to win all the rounds. Like, he's talking shit that Usman. How he knows he's better than him. How you beat him up in training for like the last 2 years. All this stuff. Whereas Usman, I mean, I'll be, he is Kamaru's younger, older brother. I don't know what it is. But like I do think he has put himself in like uncomfortable positions in terms of like, trying to develop to be this level MMA fighter. And I just think that it could play out a lot different than people. I think a lot of this price moving in this direction is like from people, let's say at, elevation saying, yeah, Zach would get the better at him, when they would train, or tough house and all those kinds of things. So I'm taking a shot on Usman. I don't think Pauga is that good. I think he's kind of he's a little faster than Usman for sure. He's a little bit more he moves a little bit better. He flows a little bit better. But the guy's not that good himself. He does not have great pace. He does not throw that many shots. He does not take advantage of his cardio advantage. I don't think that much as either. I think Usman's gonna, be able to land some shots on him. And I just feel this is closer than a plus 200 fight. So I get plus 232 on Usman. I think I'm gonna take it. I think the over under, it being 2.5, slightly juiced over. I'm not sure if that is right, but only thing that I want to invest in is I'll take some Usman, in the plus 200 range. I think that he could definitely get this done, potentially hurt Pauga with a punch here. And him by KO is like at plus 600 as well. I just think Poga's gonna get landed on. Like, I don't think this guy's striking is very good, and I think he's gonna be there to be hit.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with pretty much everything said there. I'll be taking a shot on Usman here as well. I see these guys as actually pretty similar. They're both just low volume strikers, maybe medium volume strikers. They don't really offensively wrestle much. They don't really sit down on their shots much. They don't. They have some knockouts on their record, but I truthfully believe they're more of like a point fighting style and not really throwing 100% into all their shots. So, and you see that reflected in the over. I mean, it just got bet a little bit more, I think, in the past, few minutes. But it's like these guys are heavyweights, and the over 2.5 is, minus 125. So, it's clear that the market realizes these guys aren't much finishers. And I agree with that assessment. I think. it's just going to be a competitive striking fight. I see Usman, slipping punches a little bit. I think his offensive boxing technique isn't bad. Same with Pauga. I mean, he throws decent offense, but I just think that it's going to be a competitive, uh, medium tempo striking fight. And I think the fact that one guy is almost at 75% is a little nuts. And you're seeing really no name value for Usman, being the brother of Camaro. We see Khabib's fighters be huge favorites all the time, getting rubbed from that name, but no market love for the Usman name here. So I think, yeah, Usman is probably worth a small bet. Don't go anything crazy. Probably a unit at max, maybe a little bit more, but I think you can't be too wrong in a spot like this. With this price, also the much more natural heavyweight, right? Pauga's fought at light heavyweight throughout most of his career. Usman, is rumored to be 250, 260. So I think Usman might have a 20, maybe even 30 pound weight advantage here come fight night. Definitely be interested to see the weigh-ins there. Time for the co-main event. Best fight on the card by a gigantic margin. Welterweight division. Vicente Luque taking on Jeff Neal. The line for this one: Luque minus 197, Jeff Neal plus 172. So we got Luque trains at Sanford, right? Right, Ozzy?
Yeah, but I think most of his training camps have been in Brazil lately.
Really, recently. I was gonna say it'd be a cool Sanford versus Fortis matchup going on here. But I mean, Vicente Luque is an amazing action fighter, right? The guy has had some incredible fights in his career, but he's known for, just embracing firefights and just trading in the pocket, not really being too smart defensively. And he just doesn't really do much to minimize exchanges. He doesn't have the greatest defense. And this guy is just always in close striking fights. I mean, even against guys, Brian Barberena took him to really deep waters. Um, and he looked kind of flat against Bilal Muhammad in his last fight. Bilal put on an incredible performance, just a workman's performance in that fight, mixing up the striking, the wrestling, the cardio of Bilal. It was just an amazing game plan from him. So maybe that's why Luque looked so bad in that fight. But man, I just think that Luque kind of really lost steam in that fight and didn't have much fight in him as the fight went on. I know he won round three after losing the first two rounds, but yeah, just not a great performance from Luque there. Maybe he'll be, trying to be reinvigorated after that loss, trying to get this win here. But Jeff Neal is looking good to me lately, man. I mean, he won that fight against Ponzinibbio. I think it was a split decision somehow, but I thought he won that fight rather clearly. And I think Jeff is just still a fighter that really might not have even hit his peak yet. He had some losses where he didn't look so good in the Wonder Boy fight, the Magny fight, but I think he's still capable of rebounding his career. He might have not even peaked yet, and I think this is a spot where I think it's going to be an easy Jeff Neal bet here. I think it's out of the question to lay nearly minus 200 on Luque when he's known for making these striking fights so close, and this is going to be an amazing matchup, an evenly matched matchup, and the odds with this one aren't really making much sense to me. And people just keep on betting Luque. So if you're interested in Neil, like I am, just sit on your hands, wait for this one to keep going up, because even today the line has gone up a good amount. So I like Neil here.
Yeah, I definitely prefer the Jeff Neal side. I'm definitely gonna be on him. Probably gonna be one of my in the top two of my bigger money line bets overall. I just think that, yeah, I mean, Luque, one, he's very hittable. Like, he admitted, and Gilbert Burns also said that the reason, or like one of the main things that Bilal did was the switching to southpaw stance, throwing that left body kick, and they said that, oh yeah, like it totally threw Vincente off, blah blah blah. And obviously, Neil's a southpaw. He's got one of the best left hands in the game. He himself is just as durable, if not more, than Luque is, and his defense himself is pretty good. Like, he's always got his hands up. He's pretty good at hand fighting. Stopping jabs as they come in. If you look at that Ponzinibbio fight, Ponzinibbio barely landed on him. He actually landed at a less than a 30% clip. If you are just considering head strikes. And he landed a few leg kicks there for sure. I think that's going to be a big factor in the fight. Can Vincente curtail, Neal into his power and back him up? Both thrown to the inside and outside leg. But I think the main thing is that Vicente's main defense is he just shells up. It's easy for Jeff Neal to throw shots, pivot off, pivot around, find body strikes, if he wants them, find kicks, head kicks, body kicks, if he wants them from there. And I think he's gonna make his hands count when he does land on him. I don't think I've ever seen even Stephen Thompson. Like I haven't really seen too many people for a whole fight feel very comfortable on the feet against Jeff Neal because this guy just moves differently from that left-handed stance. The shots that he picks to throw out are interesting, are different. And when he connects, like it's not the same as taking punches from a lot of these other guys, right? So I just think that overall Vicente, yeah, he could definitely win this fight, but I just think this is a square bet. It's a very casual bet, like I sometimes say. Just the fact that this guy, he's been, in his career, in the UFC for quite a long time, and he has not really always paved or paid off these favorite prices that easily. Yeah, he gets a lot of finishes, but look at his decision record. It's terrible, awful. He's like 2-8 or 2-6 in decisions. Not good. He tires out as the fight goes on. And Jeff Neal, he is much more efficient as well with his attack. So I'll take Jeff Neal here. We're getting back to that plus 170 number, which I really wanted and really like. And yeah, I think that's a good money line side for this fight.
Jeff Neal, last man to beat Bilal Muhammad, right? Obviously, there was that little that weird fight with Leon Edwards, but am I mistaken? I mean, Jeff Neal, kind of put on a clinic in that fight.
Jeff Neal is a very good fighter. He's very good at fighting.
He is. And he came through for us last fight. I like him again here. Um, and it's time for the main event. We got Jamahall Hill, Thiago Santos, light heavyweight division. Pretty sad main event if we're being honest here, but Jamahall Hill is the minus 330 favorite. Thiago Santos plus 270. Jamahall Hill getting a lot of action. People are parlaying them. They're betting them straight. I mean, just steady action on Jamahall Hill. Bit surprised if you ask me, but your turn to start this one off here, Ozzy.
Yeah, Jamal Hill has never been a guy that I trusted in this, his rise up here. His striking defense is not the best. I feel he encourages strikes on his chin, and he just has not met guys that look at the guys that he's fought, man. He fought Klidson Abreu, right? Not a striker. OSP, right? OSP's kind of a little wash. I think he might have missed weight for that fight as well. Paul Craig, Crew, like it just goes without saying. The guy has not fought, many guys that have big power, have confidence in that power, and have been in there in big wild striking fights. And everything that I just said, would describe Thiago Santos to a T. Other than it's been kind of kept under wraps for the most part, especially lately, right? He went 5 rounds in his last 2 fights. Probably 2 undeserved main events. Yet another one on deck here. But I mean, there's no way I trust Jamahal Hill. Like I don't think that he's gonna come out there and be able to overwhelm Thiago Santos. Like, yes, could he land a bunch of strikes and just find a chin eventually? I do think that that is live to happen. But the thing is, like, if Thiago Santos does bite down and is adamant in not giving up ground and throwing back with him, like I just haven't seen Jamal Hill take a punch, defend a punch. Take a body kick. That body's looking soft. Like I'm not no one to be talking about guys' physiques as they go in there because obviously they're preparing for these fights. There's no way that Jamal Hill's not training for him. But you've never seen this guy take a body kick from Thiago Santos. Like that shit is a crazy weapon, for Santos to be throwing out there. So I mean, if you're parlaying Jamal Hill, Mazel tov. Like, I wish you luck. I'm not gonna be taking the dog shot on Thiago Santos here unless we're getting into the 300 range. I don't know if that's a hot take. I'll let the monkeys that listen to the podcast let me know if it's crazy to not bet him at 270 but take him at like 310. But yeah, it's gonna be a pass fight for me. I do think that these guys will bang it out a little bit eventually. Like I do think Jamal Hill will come after Santos, and Santos has some pride. He's not gonna be looking to get put out quickly. But yeah, I just think that Hill's power is overrated, and I think he's gonna be in that kitchen for potentially Santos to land something big.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I would say I feel like Santos is already kind of worthy of a bet here. I mean, They're just pricing Jamahall Hill like he's just like a proven elite striker. But I mean, the guy's promising. He's a good striker. Got nice punches, pretty good kicks as well. But I mean, this is Thiago Santos, probably the toughest striker he's ever fought. Right up, I mean, yeah, better striker than OSP. And I mean, he is destroying guys like Jimmy Crute and Johnny Walker in round one. And the market is just super high on Jamahall Hill right now. They see that Thiago Santos hasn't won a fight in a while, is kind of showing signs of just very lackadaisical fighting style lately. Hasn't really been pushing the pace. He's been losing fights left and right. And when he's losing, he doesn't really seem to do anything to prevent himself from continuing to lose. He's just content to fight at the same pace. And that knee surgery really did a lot to him. The John Jones fight that obviously hurt his knees. You just see him right after that fight. He had that long layoff to fix the surgeries, and then has been a different fighter since then. Lost a lot of his speed, his aggression, his tenacity. Maybe he'll know this fight, his back's against the wall, that he's lost four of his last five, and he needs to make something happen. Hopefully, he can show a little more aggression than he's been showing lately. But the guy did, briefly hurt Ankalaev, and he did, last the full 5 rounds against Ankalaev, which I think is a pretty difficult thing to do. And I definitely don't think it would be an easy task for Jamahall Hill to do. So I'm just thinking the market is getting too high on Hill here. Santos is going to be, a value play. Definitely hard to have confidence in Santos to actually win the fight with how he's been looking lately. But Jamahall Hill being over 75% to his toughest striking matchup to date just seems like it's way off to me. So also, the fight just going the distance seems off at plus 300. I mean, if this is like a tepid striking decision like Santos' past few have been, I would not be surprised at all. So I think that these prices are a little crazy here. They're way overrating. I mean, Hill KO minus 165. That's nuts. I mean, Magomed Ankalaev just went 5 rounds with him and wasn't able to finish him. Now, obviously, Hill and Ankalaev have a different striking style, but how can you think the Hill's KO chances are over 60% here? That's an insane line. So I mean, with that rate, the Hill decision probably has value. Hill decision at 6 to 1 on FanDuel is good to me. The fight just going the distance overall at nearly 3 to 1 is good. So a lot of bets I think are off in this main event. I'm just kind of fading that Hill KO. And that's really my thoughts on the car. We stuck to our promise. We came in under an hour, well under an hour. Got 8 to 10 minutes to spare here, and that'll leave us some time for our best bet parlay of the week. Ozzy already mentioned his. You want to go ahead and mention it one more time?
Oh yeah, so we're going goes the distance in Cachoeira versus Lipski. These women are gonna bang it out for the Pride of Brazil, for Jesus, for Acai. They're gonna give us a 15-minute affair for us to get settled into that main card and get ready for those tough fights, no pun intended, to come about later on. So 160, 154, anything under like 175, I think very, very good. I don't know if that's a hot take. These monkeys that, listen to the podcast, you guys decide, at what point you stop paying juice. But yeah, I think that's a good bet. So we're rolling with that.
Damn, you really let that one comment get under your skin, didn't you,
It's
Ozzy?
just it's just such a stupid thing to say. Like, oh, you would have bet something at 150. Oh, you bet something at 150, but not 182. It's like
Some people don't understand how odds work. You
it's
got to give them a
it's
little
just
bit of
crazy.
the benefit of the doubt.
Crazy.
Well, to go, I love that bet as well. I'll be betting that straight up, Ozzy. Good find there. I'll be picking a nice square bet myself. McCall KO minus 105. So you parlay the two of them on FanDuel right now, minus 154, minus 105 comes out to plus 222. That's an angel number right there, 222. There's definitely got to be some good luck associated with that. And that'll do it. That'll do it. Really weak card this week. Like Ozzy was saying, good week to go out and do something else. Enjoy the summer while you can. Um, and that'll do it. Any closing thoughts here, Ozzy?
No, nothing at all. Just I'm touching grass on Saturday, not watching this card.
That's good advice. Well, yeah, I'll track some more bets. Make sure you keep that posted on my Bet MMA. And that'll do it this week. Thank you to everyone for listening. Make sure you're subscribing on YouTube, following us all on Twitter, checking out our track bets, and join the spaces too. I'll be live on spaces this week, talking with Narco Cop. We're always giving out live bets. Last week was a really good week for live bets on the spaces. So make sure you're joining those live spaces. And thank you all for listening. We'll see you all next week. Peace out, everybody.